Welcome, welcome. I'm Steve,
Hello, I'm Kevin.
and today we're going to talk about all of those old TV programs we used to watch as kids, and for
And
me, that through the 80s and 90s.
that includes all the good ones and all the rubbish ones as well.
Yeah. Well, you see, all my memories are of good ones. I don't even know if there was anything that I didn't like, apart from this is the weird thing, right? We only had two choices when I was a kid. It was either BBC or ITV3.
Yep, this is true.
Yeah, and Um, for some reason, I always watch Channel 3. So when I watched stuff on the BBC, I didn't quite like it as much. Don't know why.
Hmm.
Things like Blue Peter. Oh,
Oh yeah,
I,
everyone likes that.
well, yeah, but I never really watched it. And when I did, I just thought it was a bit rubbish. But I think I was more into cartoons than real life stuff. Apart from, can you remember the Art Attack?
Oh yeah, with Tony Hart. Oh no, or Art Attack. You talk. Sorry, there's
Yes,
Neil Buchanan. Neil Buchanan.
Neil Buchanan was the guy. He was brilliant.
Yes, yes. He used to like do all these great pieces of art, and you think, oh, I'm going to give that a go. And you never did, or at least I never did.
No, I just watch and go, yeah, that would be cool to do that. And then you just never do.
I liked his enthusiasm,
Yeah. And the great
which
thing
I
was,
lacked.
what, well, the great thing was, if he coloured things in and he's like, don't worry if you go over the lines, it all adds to the effect. And he would say that every time. So I say that to my kids now when they're colouring in. And that, if they want to get it perfect, I'm like, don't worry about getting it perfect. It all adds to the effect. And actually, in my living room, I kind of blew them up, but I've got two pictures that my kids drew. But I kind of drew them as well. But I've got two
Uh,
pictures in my living room my kids drew. It looks like modern art. It's awesome.
Wow. Well, because they didn't keep to the lines, they went over the
I
lines.
was just like, draw whatever. I got massive sheets of paper out on the floor and we just drew things. And one of them, I drew round them. So the two of them, I drew round the two of them and then just coloured it in and stuff.
Well, I feel better then. When I look at my old colouring in books and I've not kept into the lines, I won't feel that I was a stupid kid. I was just artistic. Awesome. All
Because, Kev, it all added to the effect.
right, Neil Buchanan. I was thinking of Tony, was it Tony Hart, the other guy in BBC?
Yes.
Um, I can't even remember the name of the show he did, but he had Morph with him and all that sort of thing.
It was called Hart.
Heartbeat, was it?
Hart.
Heartbeat.
Maybe no, that wasn't that.
No, that was
Yeah.
that's, no, it definitely wasn't
Something
that.
set in the 40s or something with
With Wixie from EastEnders. Uh,
police in a little village. What's that? That's Heartbeat, isn't it?
yeah, that was. Maybe it was. I've just Googled one of the programs Tony Hart did. He did Take Heart, and the last one that he did was Heartbeat. One word.
Well,
So
there you go.
it was actually Heartbeat.
Yeah, it sounds right, but it doesn't sound right because you've got that other program called Heartbeat.
Ah, but he's been really clever because his name is Tony Hart, but Hart spelled Hart. So
Yeah,
it's Heartbeat with a Hart.
yeah.
It's just
Morph was
clever
also.
puns.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Heartbeat on the BBC.
Yes. It
Yeah,
was their version of Neil Buchanan's Art Attack, but with an
uh,
old man that was just a bit out of touch.
see, I just loved the drawing programs. I just I love watching them. In fact, you know what I said before that you just watch and that's it. But actually, I think I had me paper out and everything trying to do it as he was doing it. But you never could because everything was prepared, wasn't it?
Well, I was a bit mean on Heartbeat. I don't know if you ever remember it. They used to have the gallery, and they would have the
Yes.
viewers would send in their pictures that they've drawn, and I'd play the rubbish, rubbish. Clearly, the parent helped. Rubbish, rubbish. That
Yeah.
was terrible.
It's so true, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hold on a minute.
they felt sorry for that kid. That's why they put him in the gallery. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about like 80s stuff on programs in the 80s, as it started to get into the 90s, obviously because of my age, it starts getting a bit weird if I'm still watching kids programs. So I think by the mid 90s, I'm probably out. I probably don't know any kids program past in the mid 90s.
You see, I haven't grown out of it. I'm actually introducing. my son to cartoons and stuff. I'm like, you want to watch this one? And he's like, oh, it doesn't look very good. I'm like, it is. Trust us, it is good. And then he watches it and he's like, yeah, that was really good. I was like, I told you.
I mean, I like watching old cartoons from back in the day. I mean, I don't know if you ever remember the epic of the Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Yes.
I've got that
Yeah.
on DVD. It's like it's still I remember it lasting forever as a kid, and it's on like 10 discs with like 40 odd episodes.
Yeah.
Like that's 40 weeks of your life as a child watching this program, and I was really annoyed because I always remember I missed the last episode.
Oh,
I
you
don't
mean
even,
when it came out, the week it came out on TV?
yeah, when it was on TV,
Yeah.
I missed it for some reason. So I never know if they ever made it to the Mysterious Cities of Gold or not. I'm presuming they did. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's just a waste.
Well, maybe it was a sad ending. Maybe they all
But
died in the end. It was like horrific.
no. You'll be shocked that they did a second series of that quite recently. So there is a sequel to the Mysterious Cities of Gold with the same kids and everything
Ah,
in it.
with them living there.
I don't know. But I'm like, I must finish the. I'm about 20 episodes into rewatching it again, but it's like committing to half-hour episodes, and there's like another 20 of them to go.
Yeah.
It's a tall order. There
It's
seemed
a
to be
little.
more time when I was a child.
Yeah, that's so true. It's a little bit like the Thundercats. So I just love the Thundercats. I've got the DVDs upstairs, and I didn't even know for years. I think I probably watched about half of the first season, and probably not even that, a lot less. But I remember it and loved it. And then when I got the
Yeah.
DVDs, I realized there's 2 seasons worth, and there's tons of episodes. I'm like, yes,
Yeah, you see,
but
I used to love Thundercats like you, and I watched the DVDs of it, and I think I was out as soon as there were these weird robot teddy bear things in it. I'm like, I'm out.
the the Greebles or
Barbells or
Goebbels.
no, that's like German's propaganda minister or something. Hitler's
I think they were called the Goebbels.
Herman Goebbels. Um, I think they were barbels or bear
Burbles.
balls or something like that. Yeah, I don't think they'd call them Goebbels.
Oh, it is. It's Burbles. Yeah, not Goebbels. Burbles.
Yeah, they are no relation to Hitler and have nothing to do with the Nazi Party. So just put that out there.
Well, what's really funny about what you've just said, right, is that the Burbles appeared in episode 3, season 1.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so as
I
soon as
must.
episode 3 came, you went, "Oh, this is rough had enough."
No. That's back then. I loved it as a kid. It was all
Ah,
right. But watching
yeah.
it now, I'm like, I don't remember it being them being that rubbish. But
Ah,
there was a
yeah.
trend in kids' cartoons back in the day that they'd put annoying characters in it, like
Yeah.
Snarf. I wanted to
Yeah.
punch that thing out even as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like what? It's cruel. They're naming a character after the fact that it's got a habit where it can't stop going snarf, snarf.
Snarf, snarf. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's annoying.
well, a little bit like was it Urkel from He-Man? I think it started with Urkel from He-Man actually. The
Hercule, no, it's Orko, the floating thing.
Orko, yes. Oh, what was I talking about? So
Yeah,
yeah, I
because
think
he's
it
got an
started.
O on his jumper, hasn't he, for Orko?
Yes, of course. But I think it started with Orko from He-Man, and then it kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
it became a thing. Kids maybe liked it. I don't know. I never had a problem with Snarf, but when I watched
I did.
Thundercats 2011 season, which is actually is really really worth a watch, like absolutely fantastic, and it's got more of a backstory to. I know that Thundercats had backstories to the characters, and the whole sort of theme around them having to go to Middle Earth or Third Earth or whatever it was because
Third
because
Earth,
their
yeah.
because their planet was being destroyed. Uh, but with the 2011 version, it's just very deep and actually it's quite dark and um, there's a somberness about it. It's brilliant. It's really really good. But apparently they didn't finish it because they weren't selling the merch. See, with
Uh,
cartoons, apparently it's all about the merch and making money on the merch.
I have one question about the remake or the reboot that they did. Is Chitara still hot?
In the 2011 version,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
good. I might
because it
watch it
was it
then.
was drawn it was drawn in the same kind of style, you see. Whereas,
Oh.
have you seen the more recent version of Thundercats? from
I've seen pictures where they've made it look really kiddified and like, what is that
yeah,
nonsense? Yeah,
yeah.
I'm out on that one. No,
Right. So if you watch it, right, it's still worth a watch. What I'd say is you have to watch it and not compare it to the old Thundercats. It's actually
impossible.
it's still it's still funny. And it like bits of it are quite clever and that. It's just daft, but it's you can enjoy it. But if you compare it to the old Thundercats, there is no comparison. Cartoon Network really went for something completely different on that one.
Yeah, I can't get into modern cartoons anymore. I'm probably not their target audience. Clearly, you are.
Well, well, here's the thing, right? So I watched a documentary. I think it was either Cartoon. I think it was Cartoon Network, yeah. And what the companies do now is they give the writers and the cartoonists a lot of freedom because they've realized that uh, things like Peppa Pig, kids love Peppa Pig, but adults are like, oh god, Peppa Pig, oh. But
Yeah.
when you watch Peppa Pig, it's actually really good. It's funny, and because they've realized that parents have to sit there and watch this as well. So they've moved on from just creating cartoons for kids to creating cartoons for kids and their parents. So there's adult jokes mixed in, and there's all kinds of stuff mixed in there that'll appeal to adults. And here's the other thing: you have to watch the cartoons from episode one, season one. Things like there's a program, the cartoon called Steven Universe, and there's a She-Ra, and if you watch them from episode 13 of season two, you're gonna go, "This is rubbish. This is just madness, rubbish. Oh my god, kids these days." Ugh. But if you watch
Yeah.
it from the first episode, you'll get the characters because there's a story arc, and it's kind of like watching South Park from the beginning. You get to know the characters over several seasons, and you get to love them. And it's exactly the same with new cartoons. So for anybody that is thinking, "Oh my god, cartoons nowadays are crap," it's watch them from episode one, and you'll totally get it.
I'm beginning to think that maybe cartoons have always been rubbish because I watched a CBeebies thing. It was, oh, there's a new Danger Mouse out. And I watched
Yeah,
that. I was like, this is awful. This has got no attention span. Kids watching it. It's all over the place. What a load of rubbish. And I thought, hang on a minute. That is what Danger Mouse used to be. So
yeah,
I think my mind is just in a different place to, and I'm
yeah.
just assuming that cartoons used to be brilliant back in the day, but they were probably not that much different.
Nah, cartoons were slower back in the day. Like if you watch Thundercats, it's slower in several different ways. Actually, if you watch the old Thundercats, everything is explained for you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, hello, hello, we are the Burbles, and you know what I mean. Everything is explained. There's no kind of
I
uh,
know what you mean.
trust. There's no kind of
Yeah,
trust
don't trust
in.
your audience.
Yeah, there's none of that trust in the audience that they're smart enough to to know without you telling them everything. So in the old cartoons, I think they told you a lot more. It's a bit like watching Japanese um, cartoons, where when it's converted to English, there's a lot of telling you the obvious. I've just seen that happen, and then they tell you that it just happened. So, uh, but cartoons now are a lot faster paced. But then I suppose they have to be, don't they? Because they what kids are faster paced these days anyway. They watch YouTube all the time, and everything has to keep your attention, hold your attention. Otherwise,
That
they'll just go switch off.
that's a good point. So I was talking to a 12-year-old child the other day. It's all right. The child does know me. I don't go around and
Yeah,
talk to children. And we were talking about like TV and films, and he wasn't getting any references or anything. I'm like, don't you watch TV or film? No, they're boring. I watch YouTube and TikTok.
yeah,
So he doesn't watch any TV programs, doesn't watch any film because it doesn't appeal to him because he wants
yeah,
rubbish that's on YouTube or TikTok. Well, I
yeah,
don't mean when we put this on YouTube that this is rubbish,
yeah. This is not
but
rubbish.
opening a box and showing what's in the box, and that's like getting more views and quality entertainment. You're like, what the
Oh,
hell?
Kev, I get sucked into it. I get sucked into it
I
just as
know you
much.
do.
It's a bit like me. It's a bit like when I don't know, Love Island comes on. I don't watch Love Island. I think it's rubbish, right? But people love watching Love Island. But if I sit there for 10 minutes with it on, I'll start watching it. It sucks us in. I think they've refined the art of hooking the audience, and
No, it
even people
doesn't.
that don't like that kind of thing, you start getting pulled into the story, and you're like, no. resist,
But
resist.
it doesn't to me because the wife obviously watches it and I watch it and it just makes me feel inadequate because every bloke in there is like muscles, six
As
packs, full head of hair, tans, and I'm like, right, well, are they meant to be average people or something? Because I don't look like
soon as it comes on, I've got the weights out and I'm doing press ups.
that. Yeah. You're like in American Beauty, where he's like doing the old muscle pumping, looking at himself in the window reflection.
Yeah, and characters that love themselves.
I can just see you like Love Island's on. Get me the dumbbell.
Yeah.
Using my guns.
But my favorite character from Thundercats is Mum-Ra.
Oh yeah, there's a theory about Mum-Ra and that. They reckon that I'm only going by the old series, but they reckon that Third Earth is actually our planet Earth in the far future because you've got Mum-Ra and a pyramid there and the Egyptian part of
Yeah.
it. So it's like Earth in the far future, and he was like some Egyptian god or something.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I'm from being young, I realized that Third Earth was Earth. I think it's based on our planet, but I never really thought about it in that much depth. Like, is it the future or is it the past? Who knows? But yeah, clearly the future. If you've got characters like the Burbles,
Yeah, there's all like technology around. It's almost like it's been a technological planet that's been kind of forgotten and lost, but there's remnants of it left on that planet
yeah,
from some like future. I don't know, maybe the Ukraine war spills out and it destroys everything and everything becomes like Thundercats. That'd be cool.
we model everything we build on Thundercats. We'll have Panthros. Was it Thunder Tank? Have I got that right?
I think you're right. They just gave it a cat or a thunder motif on everything they created.
Yeah,
It's a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. I used to
yeah.
watch that as well. But talking about the annoying characters, and this is what made me realise I can't stand these annoying characters. It was the Uni. Do you remember Uni in Dungeons and Dragons? The little unicorn,
No,
the
well,
baby unicorn.
I watched Dungeons and Dragons, but it was I might have been too young because I can't remember it in that
Possibly,
much detail.
we're talking early 80s, but they're trapped in the realms of Dungeons and Dragons, and they're trying to get home
Yeah,
again, back to their own Earth. And I remember there was one
it
time
was
they
like
were
Quantum
almost,
Leap.
yeah, they're never going to get home until the last episode, but they were just about to manage to get home, and the stupid unicorn thing got his leg caught in something. It's like, "Meh," and they had to go back and rescue the unicorn, and the portal closed.
Ah,
You're like, that stupid unicorn should have just left it.
but what could have happened if they did? Because remember in did you watch Stargate?
Uh, I've I've watched the film. I've
Ah,
dipped in and out of the series, but I never really got into the series.
well, there's a part in the series. I can't remember how many seasons along or whatever. But the replicate is it the replicators or the replicants? There
Well,
was
you've
it.
crossed over Star Trek and Blade Runner there.
Well, one of them they've got the same kind of character, replicate or the replicants or something. There's a good replicant or replicator, and they get caught in this kind of a time bubble explosion, and the Stargate crew managed to get out, but not save the good replicant. So yeah, so the replicator, he's stuck in this time bubble. So time is going very slowly, and the further you get away from it, the quicker time becomes until it becomes normal speed. So they get out of this time bubble and get into the Stargate and save themselves, but they don't save him. They leave him, and he, because of that, because he's trapped in this bubble of time going very slowly while everything explodes around him. He has a lot of time to contemplate things, and he ends up becoming evil.
Oh, so the good
Yeah,
person becomes evil.
yes. And I thought
Uh,
really, really good. And I need to watch all of that again. I haven't watched it for years, but
yeah, I never got
fantastic.
into it. I liked the original film at the time, but I never got into the
Yeah,
series. I think it's because I
yeah.
didn't have Sky or whatever it was on. You reminded me about Quantum Leap when you mentioned that. I used to watch that religiously, and you realise it's actually quite lame. I'm going to get some hate mail for that. It's got a lame TV tune. Do, 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 do. It's kind of like, oh, a relaxing little tune. A
Yeah,
little. It's sort
it
of, it
was
should be hard hitting sci fi music.
it was family friendly though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit. inconsistent with. Well, what was he like? Did he inhabit their bodies, or
Yeah.
was it his body with a projection of them on it, and who was in the
No, no.
waiting room, or what? And it changed. You like, I never even. I tried googling it. I watched, I think, an hour-long YouTube video on theories about quantum leap, and I'm still like,
Yeah.
no one knows.
No, he leaped into their body, and their soul sat in the waiting room with with Al. Al could
Ah,
speak to
yeah.
him, couldn't he? And
Well,
then
no. If he leaps into their body, right? So
yeah.
that's fine. But do you remember the episode where he leapt into someone that didn't have any legs and he stood up and he's hovering in the air with like his stumps? So clearly, what is that? His body
I
there,
can't
but
remember
he's
that one.
projecting that. And there was one where he jumped into a chimpanzee, and they're
Ah.
looking at him at head height. Like it didn't make sense. That was a low. That was scraping the barrel. Where he's leapt into everything else. What's left? Oh, we'll leap him into a chimpanzee.
Yeah, yeah. They probably thought that would be hilarious. They,
Yeah,
they probably just having a. They just kept it going as long as they were getting funding for that one. It's like, yeah, it's
but
still really popular. Let's just keep going go as crazy as we can.
you should look for a clip. You've got Scott Bakula acting his heart out. It's like, mate, you played a chimpanzee. Yeah.
Here's the other question then. If he leaped into a chimpanzee, would that not destroy his brain? Because he wouldn't be able to, if he leaps into a person, yeah.
No,
See,
no,
this is the
that's what I
thing.
mean. It's not leaping in. Is it his only soul inhabits it? Is he a projection?
Yeah.
Is that a projection? It's
Well, yeah.
inconsistent.
Can you remember the film Butterfly Effect?
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Well, what happens in there is he can travel through time, um, and when he if he travels back in time, he can change the past, and then when he kind of leaps back into his body in the current time, his whole brain rewires, and it really hurts,
Oh.
because all of the memories that he's missed out, all of those from all of those years, have to kind of um, he, or in his brain in the current time, aren't they? But because he's leaped back and then back, he's kind of missed all of that experience. So it really hurts him, because his whole brain is kind of being kind of scarred and everything. And this is what I thought with Quantum Leap. Like, if he leaps into somebody's body, wouldn't it really hurt to begin with? Because you've all of a sudden got a flood of memories of this person that you have. But it didn't really work that way, did it?
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's inconsistent. Is it his soul? Are they swapping souls? Is it his body switches place with that person, but it's a projection of that person on him, or and
Yeah.
it
Well,
changes from story to story? It doesn't
he
make
was
sense.
well, he was definitely going inside their body because everybody else couldn't see Sam Beckett. They could only see the person he was jumping into. So he was definitely going into their
No, he
body.
wasn't. No, what about the one where he's hovering? He's standing up in like with his stumps hovering because he's
Uh,
it. It doesn't. See what I mean? Is the writers didn't have a writer's bible with some rules within it, and they never
yeah.
properly out in the first place, and they just like did it on the fly.
Just making it up.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, this writer's new in here, but he's going to write that. And no one said to him, well, you're a continuity advisor. They didn't have one of those.
Yeah.
Or I
No.
don't think the concept was really fully formed when they did it. They just thought, oh, that would be cool.
Wasn't this the 80s and 90s though?
Yeah, I think 1989 was it?
Yeah, it
I
would have been.
religiously watched it.
And I loved it, but maybe we think about things in a lot more depth now. Analyze it
Yeah, that
instead of
was meant to
just.
be. Yeah, that was a family friendly. Do 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 do. Don't think about it too hard, or you won't like it.
Well, I mean, there were other things like. Did you watch Captain Planet?
I didn't watch it, but I know what it is. It's that blue guy, wasn't it? With his.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
it
I.
was all about pollution. Like Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. It was like one of those,
Oh God,
because
that sounds so lame.
I know,
A cartoon
but
about saving the planet through not polluting. Oh my God,
yeah,
every kid would
yeah.
love that.
Well, if you look at it though, that was the global warming crisis. We've got climate change crisis we've got going on at the moment. That was that version of it back then, wasn't it?
Oh
It was all about
yeah.
pollution. Remember, it used to be about save the trees, don't use paper, save paper. And then we went to plastics and thought we'd cracked it.
Yeah.
How wrong we were.
I think I what used to watch Defenders of the Earth. I don't know if that was the same sort of thing.
It was, yeah.
Oh no, that was defending
Defenders
them
of
from
the Earth.
alien.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
about pollution. I think it was on around. It was the same kind of style, wasn't it? The drawing or the
yeah. That's
animation.
why I'm thinking of Captain Planet and Defenders of the Earth, and
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, but they weren't fighting pollution. I think they were fighting Ming the Merciless for
yeah.
some weird
The
reason.
power of 10 tigers. I remember that.
Yeah, and Mandrake, Master of Illusion.
Yeah, master of magic spells and illusion.
Enemies crumble in fear and confusion. The defenders
Defenders
of
of the
the
Earth.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a trip down memory lane. Oh, we do have like, even though I'm older than you, we do have paths crossing here, haven't we?
Yeah,
Um,
oh,
if,
definitely.
if you tell me that you remember D'Artagnan and the Three Muskehounds, I'll be very impressed.
Yes, definitely. I love it. Loved it.
Oh, cool. Ulysses 31, you'd love that actually. That was really
Yeah,
scary.
I never watched it. I know of it, but I never watched it.
That was terrifying, some of those episodes. It was all based on like Greek mythology and like
Yeah,
Odysseus and that sort of thing. That was actually really, really had some real scary imagery within that one. That was a good thing when kids' programs actually scared you a little bit.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
Moomins used to scare me.
Moomins, yeah. But Moomins was weirdly calm, and
Yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean.
it was a sleepy, dreamy kind of thing. I'm talking about the felt animation one rather than the cartoon version they brought out.
Yeah. Ah, right.
The one with
And
the
even
puppets and things.
yeah. Well, anything to do with puppets back in the 80s was scary.
Yes. Well, puppets in general are scary. Look at Punch and Judy.
Yeah,
You wouldn't
exactly.
have them round for dinner, would you? Ooh.
There's a YouTube channel called "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared," um,
Oh.
and it's kind of done a little bit like the Muppets, but the story is really dark and horrific is the word I'm going to use for it, and
Oh.
but really good. There's like lots of hidden messages and all of that, but it's got about 12 or maybe probably about 6 videos to watch. Um, I don't know, like maybe 10-minute videos or something. Each episode builds on the next.
Bit like
Um,
salad fingers.
yeah, oh yeah, salad fingers. And yeah. So when you watch it, if you want to watch it, don't hug me. I'm scared. It's really good. It's a bit
I'll
scary.
check it out.
Check it out.
As everyone should check out our recommendations. What was I going to bring up? Oh yeah, I was thinking about other like TV program. I'm going into the distant past now. That I'll probably watch some things that I shouldn't have watched at the young age that I was
Yeah.
because I had nightmares about it for ages, and then it sort of lodged in my memory to the point I'm like, what was that TV show? And well, anyway, it was. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sapphire and Steele.
No.
It was like Doctor Who on the cheap. Um, but it was creepy, and you had like two investigators would just appear. You didn't really know what they were or anything, and they'd investigate something that's going wrong with time or something like that. And there was this
Ah.
one where they arrive at this weird derelict flat, and they're wandering around the flat, and weird things are happening, and suddenly this everything that's made of animals starts coming to life, and there's like goose feathers within the pillow, and the pillow comes out and starts floating towards him, and then it's like he sees a swan or something attacking him and flapping in his face. Absolutely terrifying stuff.
No way. This is Joanna Lumley and David
Yes,
McCallum.
yeah,
This is,
that was it.
yeah, I need to watch this.
Start was creepy. The start used to terrify me, like really terrify me.
This is the kind of thing that I want to watch.
Yeah, it was.
You could probably get on YouTube, can't you?
Yeah, it's probably quite easily available, but it was like I remember it was like very cheaply done, and I think it was around. It was I think it was ITV's version to beat Doctor Who or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It would be really funny if we watch it now and we go, this is the most awesome program that's ever been aired, and
I,
it's so much better than Doctor Who. Why didn't this make it? And it would be down to the name, Sapphire and
well,
Steele.
it did. I think it did 3 series, but I think
Oh,
you'll actually quite like it because it's very sort of some adult dark themes there, and there's a whole mystery about you don't really know where these investigators come from or what they're really who are they, what are they, and the introduction sequence is very kind of like vague, almost like they're sending different elements down to investigate where there's been some disturbance in time. It's really good stuff. Highly recommend it. Talk about another Doctor Who and the cheap. There's Blake Seven. I don't know if you remember Blake Seven.
no, never
That is
watched Blake
well
Seven.
old. You're talking like I think 1979 to probably about 1982. Um, it's a space TV, space BBC production space TV program about a bunch of freedom fighters flying in a spaceship fighting the evil Galactic Federation. Should look at that one. That was like a very adult themed kind of Doctor Who type thing.
What's it called again?
Blake Seven. That had some very dark. Saying that, talk about like you think, oh yeah, it's like a sci-fi space fighting and all that. And in like the first episode, they basically Blake is a freedom fighter, and they're trying to discredit him, so they put him on trial as a paedophile to try and discredit. You're like, my God, this is the BBC in 1979. So check that one out. And I don't know if you remember this one. And right, so Different Strokes.
No,
Really? What you
no.
talking about, Willis?
Yes. Ah, I remember this now.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the white rich guy that adopts two black kids.
This is an American thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was watching that on some episodes on YouTube, thinking, oh, I'm actually quite enjoying watching this old 80s kind of comedy thing.
Yeah.
And there's an episode based, and they right. Bear in mind the content of this episode, right? And they leave the laugh track in of the audience laughing. Go and have a look at it. But basically, there's an old guy starts grooming the little kids in it, and he's like a pedo bike shop owner, and it's got like he's doing stuff like leaving a little bit of sneaking at some porn magazines in amongst some comics, and the audience are laughing about it.
What?
And you're like,
Seriously?
go and check out that. Go and look for Different Strokes Bicycle Shop or Different Strokes Pedo episode. You'll find it on YouTube. And there's a really good commentary on it. So that's your homework for tonight. It just goes to show you like the stuff they would put on kids' programs back in the 80s would just terrify kids now, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I bet you got away with a lot.
I suppose that was like in the days of like old fashioned pedoing before it's got a bad rep.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the 80s seemed to be full of it, didn't it?
just
Oh.
harmless old fashioned pedoing, like.
There's a version of Rainbow, which I think, I'm not sure if this was a real episode or whether it was a spoof episode, but it had,
Posted one. That was a spoof episode. Is
yes,
that what
it
you're
was
going
a
to tell
spoof, was
me?
it? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I was going to, yeah. Once he's peeling the banana and he's going one skin, two skin, three skin, and then he goes four, and then he gets interrupted by Jeffrey and Bungle, and everything. There's just a lot of innuendo, isn't there? But
yeah. It's Oh, I'm playing with James Maracas stuff like that.
well,
Yeah, I
there's
think
a
they did it as an outtake, as a spoof, like Mickey take.
yeah, and there's an even funnier version of Rainbow, which was done for Jeremy Clarkson's birthday. So if you search for it on YouTube, Jeremy Clarkson's birthday, Rainbow.
I'll have to
It's
check that one out.
you'll be seriously crying with laughter. It's really funny.
Oh God, I used to hate Rainbow when I was a kid. I don't know if you were still watching it, but we're talking early 80s. I used to go home for dinner from school or lunch, and it would be Rainbow would be on. You'd watch it because you're a kid and there's nothing else on at that time, and you'd just be like, I remember like how weird it was, like some of the cartoons they put in there, and I always remember, oh, it's the Rod Jane and Freddie song part of the show that I used to hate.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
weird old program.
I didn't watch it so much. I just remembered it. Probably, I mean, I must have been four or something when I watched that. Like
Yeah, you would have been a
my
lot
earliest
younger.
yeah, my earliest memories are around when I was three. I only know that because I used to live in a place called Washington, and I have
Yeah.
loads of different memories from there. And then we moved when I was four. So yeah, all of my memories from that's my earliest ever memories, and yeah, around the time I remember watching Rainbow.
Around the same, well, actually, this ran for years, but I've recently subscribed to BritBox, and it's got loads of old British TV stuff on there. And there
Yeah.
was one program that I used to watch as a kid, Rent a Ghost. I don't know if you
Yes.
remember that.
Oh, yeah, I remember
You
that.
know, Timothy Claypole.
Uh-huh.
If your mansion house needs haunting, then call Rent a Ghost. Um, I was watching that. Although it's like really childish and silly, I'm actually looking at it now. I'm like, it's actually quite amusing in places where you just laughing at the silly people doing silly things as a kid, but then as an adult, you think actually that's quite funny what they're doing now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I quite enjoyed watching that.
It's a little bit similar to like the new cartoons. Like the jokes are there are more adult jokes and not
That's the way they're
not adult
doing it.
jokes as in like jokes that South Park would do or things like that. But they there are it does appeal to adults and they do that deliberately. But then that sort of makes us think were they even more reckless back in the 80s and 90s? And then was there a period of time where they thought, no, we can't do this anymore because they get complaints and then it slowly developed into what you've got now.
Well, there's a few myths that go around. Like, do you remember Captain Pugwash?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's an old series, but everyone used to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, it had Master Bates in there and
Uh,
Roger the cabin boy." That's
yeah.
actually apparently, I'll have to double check, but apparently that's a myth. That's just something that people have made up about it.
I think isn't that the same with the Magic Roundabout? They've got this
Yeah,
whole
they're
thing
all on
about them.
drugs. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, but the thing is, though, you could apply that to a lot of kids programs.
Scooby Doo. They used to say like Scooby is like marijuana, and the Scooby snacks are because he's got the munchies, and they're all like hippie '60s things. But someone, the creator, might have just thought, "Oh, wouldn't it be fun if we just called him Scooby's a funny name, and he likes eating dog treats because that's what dogs
Yeah,
do."
yeah.
Then we're
There are,
reading too much into it,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and
there's
he's gone
no thought behind it at all.
drugs. Why would kids think I'm
Yeah.
talking about a dog liking dog treats? Well, now explain to me Puff the Magic Dragon. Talking about drugs, this is why I think I've never touched drugs. Did you used to watch Grange Hill?
Yes, but no, it wasn't that on the BBC as well.
BBC, yeah. It would have been on
Yeah,
half,
I've seen it a
probably
couple of
after Blue
times, but
Peter.
not massively into it.
Well, there was that bit with the Just Say No, and one of the characters, Zemo, he was found stoned and he was there with drugs all around him. This is BBC, children's BBC. And he was like, I think he was stoned out on heroin or something, and it was
Really?
terrifying looking. I'm like, oh
Wasn't
no.
that the point though? Say no to
Yeah,
drugs,
it's get
kids.
well, yeah, I don't take drugs because of Grainge Hill and because I can't afford them as well. They're too expensive. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even know where to go to buy them anyway. So if anyone in
Uh,
the comments could let us know, I'm joking.
You'd have to go get some cheap crack.
Yeah, that's what I'm just thinking. When you think about it, Grange Hill, yeah, cheap crap. What's that? Grange Hill thinking, oh no, we'll absolutely terrify kids that they won't be able to they won't buy heroin. And I'm thinking the reason why kids in the 80s weren't buying heroin because they couldn't bloody afford it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how much is heroin anyway?
No idea. I
Yeah, it was a
when
trick to say that.
I'd like to know in general how many young kids of like 11-year-old or some or 12-year-old are on heroin.
Yeah, this is like I think Zamo was like 15 when he got into a bit of heroin. I mean, most kids are worried about the dangers of their kids smoking or getting drunk and drinking alcohol. No. Granger was worried about your kids taking heroin.
Yeah, they go to the extreme, don't they?
Yeah, I don't think I even understood what heroin was back then.
Let's face it, right? Any kid that is on heroin is probably not watching Grange Hill.
Yeah,
They're not going to be in the house watching Grainge Hill. They're going to be on the street.
yeah, they're like proper hard kids, aren't they? That are just like bullies and wouldn't even watch any children's programs because they're just too hard for that.
Well, not
They're
even that. Their whole life is just a total like shambles.
They probably haven't got a TV because they sold it to get heroin.
Sorry, I just got a bit of cocaine stuck up my nose.
Yeah. Oh, that's better. Got dry gums. There's nothing funny about drugs, kids. Just say no.
Just say no. What
They
about
went and
um?
so I was like, they went and met the Carter Grange Hill went and met Nancy Reagan in the White House. She must have been thinking to herself, "What the hell is Grange Hill?" Some kids program, like what?
Talking about drugs, what about Banana Man?
When Eric eats a banana, he becomes Banana Man.
That
Oh yeah.
was
I
good.
don't think bananas are a drug, are they?
No, well, I mean, for him they were
He was addicted
superhuman
to it.
drug.
Wow, it's got high levels of potassium, so apparently if you eat 7 bananas, it's fatal, which is why they don't sell bananas in more than bunches of 7 because of the potassium levels.
Is that really true?
Apparently, I read it somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Dangerous bananas.
Salt's dangerous too. If you had, I'm pretty sure that if you could eat, you'd have to have some kind of mental health crisis to do this. But if you could eat 5 or 6 teaspoonfuls of salt, it's a
What?
it's a it's the same effect.
Can I
You'll end
dissolve
up.
that in water? Or does it mean like raw? Like
No,
if I
it
put
doesn't
seven
matter.
spoonfuls of, or you would never get that down. You'd be throwing that up anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, your body wouldn't allow it, would it? It would just yeah,
Oh, I actually feel ill thinking about that.
yeah. It's disgusting, isn't it? But that is fatal too, apparently. Not that
Drinking too
anyone
much
would do
water
it.
is fatal.
Well, yeah, I've heard this before as well. Somebody, like I said, right? I mean, I remember on night shift, I thought I'm going to experiment, and I had a 5 liter bottle of water, and I thought I'm going to try and drink all of that, and it was physically impossible. Couldn't drink it all over a night shift.
You must have been bored. Why wasn't you working? You should have been working.
Exactly. Oh, I couldn't
I
physically. I
What happened after halfway through? Your body's gone right, shutting down.
was just pissing every 5 minutes.
I'm tempted to try it. We should have a challenge of the week. What's the
Well,
most water you can drink?
Lee Moore's, yeah, just end up in hospital. Podcast live from Chelsea and Westminster Hospital.
Yeah. I was watching a Beavis and Butthead episode the other day where they basically didn't go for a piss for like 2 weeks just so they'd get some nurse looking at them, and they're lying on their sides on like a table, shivering and shaking where they're still holding their pee.
When you were at school, right? Did you have a little TV room? Yeah, I'm on about a primary school here. So in primary school, did you have a little TV room that every so often it'd be a
No.
right treat, and they would take you into this TV room and you would watch something.
Yeah,
Did you?
the head teacher's porn collection.
Yeah.
No, that never happened to me.
Well,
But if
we used
you're
to. You
very
see.
special, young Steve, you can come in this little room with me. I'll put a TV in for you there. That's called grooming, I think.
We used to get taken to this little room. All the lights would be switched off, and you'd have this little
Oh,
TV.
God.
We'd all sit there. I know. Um,
Oh, dear.
and we'd watch programs like there was one called I think it was called Words Pictures.
Yeah, I remember that. It was
Can
when
you remember that with a magic pencil?
pencil would
This
draw the
sounds
light,
even
the
worse
right.
now,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah. You got taken into a dark room and shown a magic pencil.
Oh, but did you ever watch? Because only a few people have ever said they watched this, right? And this is because, well, I don't know why, and this is people from down south as well, right? So, and there was a program we watched called Geordie Racer. Can you remember it?
No.
No, maybe it was just literally my exact sort of year group. We used to watch a program called Geordie Racer, and it was obviously something filmed up in the northeast, and they would race pigeons.
What?
Yeah, Geordie Racer, Geordie Racer.
Was that teacher saying, just focus on what's on the television, Steve?
What?
You ever been tickled on the inside?
Don't
You
worry
got a
about the.
Geordie in you. Would you like some? Why, hey?
Don't worry about the magic pencil.
Yeah, Wordle.
Oh, and there was another one called Through the Dragon. Oh no, this sounds worse.
Through the
There was another
butthole.
one. There was, there was another one called Through.
You can't even say it.
It was called Through the.
Go
Oh,
on.
God's sake. Oh, God's sake, Kev. It was going through the dragon's eye.
I'm out. I'm out. Through the dragon's eye. That's what you watched in this darkened dream. You were taking it for a special treat.
Oh, man. It was a television program.
Oh.
1989 it came out. And
Is
it
that
was
roughly when you came out?
and it had a magic dragon in it. I can't even remember what it was about, to be honest.
I think you must have dreamt this one. I'll have to Google it later. Through the
through,
dragon's eye.
through the dragon's eye.
What the hell are you watching? I've never seen so much rubbish in my life.
I remember enjoying it.
So does your head teacher. We didn't have a TV room, but we had like the treat was the treat that our paedophiles gave us was you could have a chance to have a go on the only computer the school had. It was a BBC Micro.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never got a chance to play on that thing. And the ironic thing is, the hard kids got to play on the computer loads. But the ironic thing is being that, well, me and all my mates were the nerds that had computers at home that were interested in it. We never got
That
a
was
look in.
that was why they were like, you nerds don't need to practice on this, but these guys do. This is the
Yeah,
future.
yeah, the BBC Micro.
we had a
Oh.
um we had a computer. I don't know, probably like a CAD computer or something daft like that. But I remember getting told off for typing the keys too hard. How
Yeah,
bad
well,
is
you
that?
must have been hammering it to you. You're probably going to break the keyboards.
I
Dang,
was just
dang, dang.
I was. You know what though? I think it was an old keyboard, and you know the old keyboards when you do press them, they do make a nice kind of.
Yeah, but
And
it's
it
not a
didn't matter
typewriter. I've got to make sure the ink goes on the screen. Dink!
because I remember distinctly saying, "I'm not," and pressing it normally, and then him going, "Right, get off."
Yeah, you got as far as writing your name or
Yeah,
halfway through. STE.
don't press
Right,
the
that's
keys too
enough of
hard.
that.
I'm not.
Quickly get off that computer. Get yourself to the TV room for a special treat. Through the dragon's eyes on. You're going to
Oh,
need counselling after this one.
yeah, all the memories are flooding back. No.
I
Oh,
like they must have thought as well we were a bit thick back then because there were a load of public safety adverts on all the time about like don't go near ponds, don't play on
yeah,
electric pylons, on
yeah,
railways, and don't play
yeah.
with sparklers that have gone out, and you shouldn't go back and pick it up because you'll burn your hand off.
Yeah.
So they must have thought we were like just really prone to accidents. Yeah, at the same
Oh,
time, they would have like slides with like jagged, sharp edges on it in playgrounds and swings with heavy, hard concrete on the bottom. But to stay away from electric pylons, I don't even know where I would go to find an electric pylon.
yeah, it was literally the kids that lived next to one. That was it.
Yeah, it was just aimed at them, really. But I was like, oh, terrifying adverts back then as well. Terrifying TV, terrifying adverts,
Yeah.
terrifying pedo teachers.
The, the fire brigade came to our school and they showed us a video about a kid who had gone on the railway lines and had his arm chopped off.
Jesus.
If that wasn't bad enough,
How?
right?
Nothing to do with the train. He just had his arm chopped off for his punishment of
Yeah,
going there.
yeah.
You
He even had his
go there again. I'll have your other arm.
yeah. And what made it worse for me was that when I was like 4, um, and I lived in Washington, there was this kid called Darren, and he had a bandage around his arm, and he didn't have a hand. And the rumor was that his hand had been cut off because he was messing around on the railway lines. And
Yeah, as a punishment.
yeah, and then
It's like, right, I told you not to go down to the railway lines. Give us your hand.
oh, he used to scare me. But he deliberately scare you when he was a bit older. And I remember, like, I rode through on my bike. I rode through a little cut that I wasn't really allowed to go down, and it was just and he was there, right in the middle of this cut. There was a swing, and him and one of his friends was like right next to the swing. And I came on my bike, and I was like, when your eyes widen because you've oh
It's
no, it's Darren, and he hasn't got a hand, no, and I remember him going rah like this to us. Ah,
did it
scared the
scare
crap out
you?
of us. Yeah,
Wouldn't
I
you
was
like to
literally
find him
4.
now? Find him now and like ask him about that. He'll have no memory of it.
No, he
Or
must
will
have
he?
been. I don't know. I bet he was like 7, and there's me 4, proper scared of him because his hand had been cut off.
Yeah. Or a
It
train.
does make you wonder how do you get your hand cut off by a train or a railway? Like if you fell over, you'd expect to just be dead, wouldn't you? Like you'd have to
Well,
place your hand. I don't
you'd
know.
have to. Oh, I've fallen over, and your hand flies out behind you and rests on like the non-electric rail or something, and it stays there as a train runs over it.
Yeah, no idea.
And even if you electrocuted yourself and your hand got burnt off on a stump, I don't see how that. No, there's another. He probably had a. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to track him down, find him on Facebook if you can remember his last name, and see if
Yeah,
he's still got like no hand. Well, he would still have no
yeah.
hand. It wouldn't grow back. You can't grow another hand.
No, he probably just broke his fingers or something, or cut his hand, and he had a bandage on his hand.
Oh, yeah, you just remember it as him losing his
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. Oh, you know what? The 80s and 90s were full of bad stories. My mum used to say all kinds of stuff. Like she'd be like, you've got a plastic bag. So she's like, don't put it on your head. You'll suffocate to death. Or
Yeah,
don't bite your
that
fingernails or you'll get cancer and die. What? And
I still can't swallow chewing gum or bubble gum because apparently, if you swallow bubble gum, it will
yeah,
wrap up inside your
yeah,
intestines and kill you. I
yeah.
used to be like, oh. And you think about it, I'm like, I'm selling this to kids without any warnings on the packet about it could kill you. Um, yeah, and I still, because of that, I still get, if I have to swallow a chewing gum or something because there's nowhere to, like, no bin, you're like, oh, is this going to kill me? Is this the one that's going to kill me? Did I tell
Oh,
you I used to be scared of shampoo
what?
because of an advert? Well, it was not every shampoo. It was just my parents used to buy the shampoo though, and I never used to want to go near it. It was called Timotei shampoo, and
Timothy, yeah.
Timotei, and
Yeah, I
it
remember
was
Timothy. Is it still?
apple scented, right?
Yeah.
So they still sell it.
I'm pretty sure Timothy is still out, yeah.
God,
Unless,
well, this is the advert. It had a woman. She put some Timotei shampoo in her head. And she's like rubbing it in, and it pans round, and she's got like apples growing out of her head. I thought that, oh God, it's going to make apples grow out of your head if you use it. But clearly, they're just saying it's apple scented.
yeah.
Terrified
I'm
me of Timotei shampoo.
pretty sure you can buy Timothy shampoo still.
Well, they should come with a warning that could cause
Well,
apple growth on head.
I when I was a kid, I heard a story that somebody had real bad toothache, and they were like, oh, went to the dentist. No, nothing there, nothing there. It was really bad. It was getting worse and worse and worse, and it was spreading up the side of the face. They were getting pains in the head and everything. So they ended up going to the doctor, and they did an X-ray, and they said there's something there. So they did more scans, and they found out that they didn't. It was a strawberry plant because they'd eaten a strawberry and one of the seeds had got stuck in the teeth and it had left and it had grown inside the face.
Oh, I believe that.
Oh yeah,
I like urban stories. I like the one where the woman's gone to an Indian restaurant, and after she's eaten there, she's got crippling stomach pains. And they've had to rush her to hospital, and they've gone in there and they've basically found that within her stomach were 7 different was semen from 7 different men. I'm like, how could that
what?
even be true?
How did they even separate it?
Why would that give you crippling stomach pains? But there was the other one was you had to keep away from apple seeds. We're back to an apple. This is why I'm terrified and
Yeah,
don't eat apples now. Apple seeds, if you eat enough of them, it's cyanide.
yeah.
It'll kill you.
That is, I think that's an actual true thing. In the apple seeds themselves, there's a tiniest. And I'm not sure if it's cyanide is what we would think of cyanide when like spies like
Yeah, you
push it
crunch
push a
down on a
tooth off,
seed and you start.
foaming at the mouth and everything. Yeah, I'm not sure it's exactly like that, but there is cyanide in apple seeds.
I've been slipping bloody little seeds in the wife's drink for ages, thinking it'll kill her, and it hasn't. That's why it's a myth. Although she has got like a apple tree growing in her tooth. Well, that's like the story. And this is a bit blue, but the woman they find in the bath dead with a dead lobster in the bath with her and a lighter on the floor. And what's happened is basically that they would use the lobster, put the tail to pleasure themselves, use the lighter to make the tail thrash around. And she was doing that one day, but unbeknownst to her, the lobster laid all its egg sacs up inside her and it killed
What?
her. The scene of the crime, you've got Columbo looking around it going, we've got a lighter, a naked woman in the bath with a dead lobster.
Okay, ma'am.
I think I know the cause of death here.
I've seen it before.
Death by foul play.
Oh, these stories are crazy. We need to actually. I think we should do an episode where we talk about these stories.
Urban legends. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a yeah. We've got sidetracked a little bit just because of the bloody Timotei advert and Boys Without Hands because they fell on a railway track.
there was a program. Oh, I'll mention two more. Firstly, have you seen? Did you used to watch Alf?
Yes, with the furry alien life form.
Yeah, yeah. That was. I think I might have watched a bit of the actual series, and then there was a cartoon after that.
Yeah, there was
And
a cartoon. I
I
remember
used to watch the
that.
cartoon. Yeah, that was quite good. And the other thing, which was,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was ITV. It was called Round the Twist.
And that was BBC. It was an
Ah,
Australian program. Have you
yes,
ever felt this way? If
that's it.
strange things
Things
happen, are
happen.
you going round the
Going.
twist? Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to enjoy watching that. I remember the one where the seagulls were attacking them and they were shitting all
yeah.
over them, and one
Can you?
where she cloned herself or something to keep running up and down the lighthouse or something weird like that.
Yeah, there was another one where he had he got powers over water. The kids used. This is just weird as well. The kids used to go and have pee. The lads used to go and have peeing competitions and say how high up they could piss
I
on
vaguely
the in the
remember
in
that.
the public toilet, and then right at the end, because he gets this power,
Yeah.
or maybe the water is he makes friends with the water spirit or something weird like that, and he pisses right over the top of the public toilets, so you just see a stream of pee coming right over the top, and he's like, yeah, because he obviously beats everybody world record.
I had a bit of a crush on the girl in it at the time, I think.
Ah,
But that was all right. I was
I
a
might
kid
have.
myself at the time. The blonde girl. She used to be at the start. I always remember she'd be on the start credits doing some karate or something. I remember that and thinking, oh, yeah, she's fine.
I think I did as well.
Yeah, she must have been hot. But I don't want to look at her now because that would be wrong. Look at her as an adult and see if she's aged, if she's blossomed.
Blossomed.
Well, she was older than me
No.
at the time.
Yeah, so that makes it okay. So, what do you think your top five? Well, we're talking 80s and 90s. What were your top five 80s and 90s shows as a kid?
Okay, well, my top one, because I still like it now, is always going to be Doctor Who. My
Yeah.
earliest memory of Doctor Who was probably when I was 4 or 5. I remember having a toothache laying on the couch watching Tom Baker. So that's going to be up there. I'm going to say Blake's 7, Sapphire and Steele. But if we're talking about kids' programs, we're probably going to be talking about, oh, that's tough because there were so many decent. Oh, Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Ulysses 31. I've said 5 already, but I'm going to say some more. Ulysses 31, that was awesome. Nightmare. I don't know if you remember
Oh,
Nightmare.
yes.
It was a Dungeons and Dragons type of theme there, so that's going to be up there. That was like groundbreaking at the time. Grainge, because I'm still watching old episodes of Grainge now. I'm
Yeah.
up to about 7 now, aren't I? All right, I better stop it at that point there. But you tell me that you have in your top 5 got Baker Grove in there.
No,
Bitter Grove.
I never watched Biker Grove. I never watched Biker Grove until
Bitter
maybe
Grove.
maybe I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago or something. And it was probably longer actually. Maybe between 5 and 10 years ago. I don't think it's still running, but there was a girl I used to go to school with was in it as an adult, so she must have been a teacher in it or something. She's called Sarah. But yeah, but never watched it properly. Don't know this whole thing about Pete, about Anne and Deck, PJ and Duncan.
Oh, they went
Don't-
paintballing and they didn't wear the mask. Ah, me eyes, man, me eyes. And he got blinded.
yeah, so never seen any of that. Might have been good, but yeah, wasn't really into it. But my five, oh, you know what? Before I say my five, I've got to give a shout out to Beetlejuice, the cartoon, because
Yeah, I remember that.
I used to think it was really good, and I think it's really difficult to even find now. Um, but my top five are the ones that I used to really, really love. Um, the raccoons. Can you remember
Oh,
that?
yes, I'll give you that. I wish I'd have put... There's so many, I'd have put that there.
Uh, He-Man, just because I used to record it. I used to love recording it, watching it over and over again, and then the tape would like chew up, and then it would really annoy us because halfway through a He-Man, one of my favorite He-Mans, it would like just go fuzzy on the screen.
Oh, man.
Thundercats, of course.
Thundercats. Yeah.
Count Duckula.
Oh, wow, that's a old school
I,
one.
yeah, I had that on videotape.
That's a
And
Cosgrove one, isn't it?
a what?
Cosgrove, the company made the same people that made Danger Mouse.
Ah, is it? Yeah, that makes
Cosgrove
sense.
Animation.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. It's the same kind of style that
And I think David Jason did the
it
voice
does.
for that as well, and he did the
Yeah,
voice for Danger Mouse.
yeah. And my last one, I was going to say Danger Mouse is my last one, but I'm going to go with just because the memories of it. I just really loved it. I never liked the Muppets, but I loved the Muppet Babies.
Muppet Babies.
Yeah. Oh, and there's
I
so many
mean,
others that you could mention, though, isn't there?
I
Like
could have gone on. You reminded
uh,
me of a load as well.
Gummy Bears.
Gummy
Uh,
Bears,
oh,
jumping all
Care
over
Bears.
everywhere.
Care
No, I
Bears.
never got into Care Bears. That's too girly for me.
I think when I was very young, I liked Care Bears because I had a Care Bear, a little green Care
Yeah.
Bear.
Did you get that as a special treat for not saying what happened in the TV room?
Weirdly, I've blanked that out of my mind. Can't remember any of
Uh,
that.
I'm also thinking of stuff now like Willie Around the World with Willie Fogg,
Oh
um,
yeah,
Jimbo and the Jet Set, The Family Nest. God, there's loads. I've interrupted your top 5, haven't I? You
and
can
then
have a few more if you want, because I went over 5.
oh well, I already said sort of gummy bears.
Yeah.
What else? I think we've mentioned quite a lot. Oh,
There's
Super
too
Ted.
many to list. Oh, so I
Super
watched
Ted.
it.
I wouldn't say favorite, but that was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Also, can you remember the Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin?
Yes, it was a teddy bear on ITV. He had a balloon ship or something, didn't he?
Yeah, that's just the one I vaguely remember. But there's actually one that I got on videotape. Captain. What's it called?
Caveman,
No, no, it was I nearly said
Captain
Captain America.
America.
No, not Captain Planet. Captain Future. Captain Future. That was it.
I don't know that one.
Well, this is one that is very hard to find. I've got it on videotape, and I've got it on
Have a look.
videotape, so I'm gonna transfer it to like digitize it, and I'll send you it. Or I might put it on YouTube. I don't know if it would.
It probably is on YouTube.
Yeah, it probably is.
What era are we talking? What year? What
Um,
year is it?
90 must be the 90s.
No, that was at the point that it was weird for me to continue watching kids programs. I got
Captain
too
Future was
old.
more like it was more like I don't know. I'd say it was more kind of towards like a manga style kind of cartoon, more than a kid cartoon. Because the one that I've got on videotape, it was about a de-evolution disease or something. Yeah, de-evolution disease, and Captain Future was kind of trying to find out how to cure this disease that turned people into apes, basically, and then they died.
Turn them into apes.
Yeah,
That sounds like an episode of Dark Places, Garth Marenghi's Dark Places. Watch that. That's funny.
yeah. I'm making a note of all these things. I've got too much to watch. So I end up with this huge list of things. So yeah, so that's my top five.
Awesome. And a few more for bonuses.
Yes. We never know how to end these things, do
I think you just press finish recording and it's
we?
ended. Oh, you want an outro?
An outro. We need a standard outro.
And that's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Until next time.
We shall meet